Hello and welcome to the Early Bird Special with your hosts, Carole Montgomery and Julia Scotti. And now, here's Carole Montgomery.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Early Bird Special. It is Wednesday, June 17th. How are you? How is everybody? What an interesting week. We have so much to talk about. New York City is slowly waking up. There is more traffic now and more people cursing each other out, but nicely, because New Yorkers, we love each other, but we hate each other. So there's a lot of fuck you, but fuck you. It's a loving, warm little special that feeling we have for each other. There are more people on the streets. I'm assuming that when and if we ever get to phase 4, there'll be way more people on the streets because the tourists aren't here. So this is all New Yorkers, which I have to tell you is kind of fun because I am a native New Yorker myself, and it is nice to just be able to bump into people that actually can afford to live in New York City. So I'm rambling. We have a packed show today, and we're going to discuss tons of stuff. So first off, I'd love to bring on my fabulous co-host, Julia Scotti. And I'm very thrilled for this. I want to say this again and tell everybody that her documentary, I think I'm probably going to fuck this up, Finding the Funny, I think it is, Julia will tell you, is going to be at the Nantucket Film Festival. So we're going to talk about that quickly, and then we're going to bring on our fabulous guest, Suzanne Westenhofer. So let's bring on Julia Scotti. Hello.
Howdy.
Hey.
And just let me remind you that today's show is brought to you by pencils. Get the lead out with pencils.
And for me, it is sparkling ice, pomegranate, blueberry. The reason I'm drinking these, and everyone knows about me and my love of flavored seltzers, is I'm back on keto because I ate my way through everything and during this quarantine. So I'm back on keto. And the thing about this particular flavor, pomegranate blueberry, it really it tastes really good with tequila because I'm still drinking. I'm not going to stop.
Are you allowed to drink on keto?
Yes. That's the greatest thing about keto.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
As long as no sugar.
Is Hoda here today?
Hoda is not here today. I'm sorry. Sorry. I know we keep trying, and hopefully one day Hoda will go, God, will those girls stop busting our chops, and I'll do the damn show. Before we bring on our fabulous guest, let's talk about. I think we mentioned it briefly last week, but this is so thrilling about your documentary. Did I get the title right?
No, not even close.
I'm not even close.
Not even close.
Oh, you know what? That's Tammy's special. So I just plugged Tammy's special instead of yours. So please plug yours.
Mine is Julia Scotti, Funny That Way.
Funny that.
Yeah.
Okay. And when is it premiering?
It is premiering next week, actually.
So excited.
I think it's the 23rd. Next Wednesday, I believe, is when it is. But tickets are on sale now. You can go to NantucketFilmFestival.org and purchase a ticket. You have to buy a ticket for all of the films, but what the hell? You're going to see some really great films.
And I got to tell you, I got to see a preview of it with Susan, the director and producer and all that, and it literally. Now you got to understand. I know this, meaning you. I know this woman a long ass time, and it brought tears to my eyes. It was just it's a wonderful, wonderful documentary. And because we're of course all quarantined, we can't see it. So like think of it as the Nantucket Film Festival is when you buy the ticket, it's like buying a ticket to Disney Plus. So you're going to get Julia's great documentary, and then all these other great films. You're not going to
get. And you can watch them as much as you want. It's not just one viewing. So
right. I mean, it's not The Mandalorian, but this, I'm telling you, everyone should see this documentary.
Thanks, Carol.
It's pretty amazing. So let's talk about our guest. So
okay.
Suzanne, I know we'll talk about this. I know that we met years and years and years ago when we were all babies in the field, and Julia was the one that went, why don't we bring on Suzanne? And I thought, what a great idea. So let's bring her on. Here, let's give a hand to Suzanne Westenhofer. Hey, hello.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Kim.
How are you?
I felt badly because I didn't have anything to say that I'm brought here by. So I'm brought here today by L'Oreal lip stain.
Oh, yeah.
I had that and I had water. That was it.
Yeah, well, you never. We're just trying to get sponsors, so we figure, any chance we can try that.
L'Oreal.
Yeah, they'd
L'Oreal.
be a good sponsor. Then they get, yeah.
Well, actually, it was funny. Yeah, when we did one of the times, I think this was even before we did the specials. We were approached by somebody who worked in I think it was L'Oreal and something else, and we were supposed to get together to meet and discuss sponsorship, and then the quarantine happened and everything went to shit. So there we are.
Hey, that should be the book we all write. The quarantine happened and everything went to shit, because you can write a list of stuff that you had started or was going to happen, and now it's like, whoa.
Including us, Suzanne, right? We were
I
supposed to.
know.
I was so pissed. We were supposed to be in Detroit together.
I know.
But
But now maybe we'll be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania together.
I hope so. Yeah.
When is that date supposed to happen in Lancaster?
Oh my God, dates? I don't even know what day it is.
I know it's for Pride, right? It's for
yeah, but they've moved their Pride obviously to like October.
Yeah.
July, maybe.
Good.
August.
Both of you. That's great. Neither one of you know.
Check your local listings.
Sometime later than now.
Yeah, in this year, it'll be this year.
Yeah, it's so bizarre because Julia and I, we did the Today Show for More Funny Women of a Certain Age. So that aired on that Friday. That Saturday, the show aired, and that was the weekend of the quarantine. So it was like, okay, nothing. All right, yay, So everything's put on hold. So Suzanne, tell me what's been going on. Like, is everything that you've been doing on hold also, obviously?
Absolutely. That made me think though of a funny story. Years when I first started stand up. Right about 6 months into it, I was on the Sally Jesse Raphael show as a lesbian who doesn't look like a lesbian. And I was very, very excited to be on the show, and it was going to help my career. I had just started, and then it aired, and 2 days later, we went to war.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, you were on the TV show. I thought you were on the radio show.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. How did that look on the Chiron? Lesbians who don't look like lesbians on the bottom of the screen. It was
breaking the stereotype. Lesbians who don't look.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
How 1991 is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that was a long. They could never get away with that now.
We wouldn't even. Yeah, now we would be like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
so bizarre.
But at the time, that was very groundbreaking, because it was that time period when to be a lesbian, people thought you looked a certain way. You looked like a mannish gym teacher, and that's it.
Yeah,
pretty much. Wow. So Suzanne, I know we work together, right? It's somewhere in LA, maybe.
When I got your email, I was trying to remember, and I'm like, I know your name and everything, and I'm like going, but when did we work together? Sure we did. I know.
But you're from New York, aren't you?
Susan?
Huh?
Pardon me?
You're from New York originally, aren't you?
No, I'm from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course. That's where we're going for your.
So were you?
I grew up on the Columbia River.
Oh, yay!
Just south of 3 Mile Island, for those of you old enough to remember that.
Wow. I want to say we met sometime in LA. Were you in LA at some point?
Oh, I live in LA. I'm coming to you right now from Los Angeles.
Yeah, so it must have been that, because when Julia mentioned you, I was like, oh yes, let's have her on. So it's been quite a while since we've seen each other.
You look exactly the same.
Say to you, darling, you look fabulous.
I gotta say, I met her. What was it, 2 years ago when we worked together?
I think it is now, right?
At the end, and it was just like I friggin' love this woman. We had so much fun.
Thing though, where we like connect right away.
Yeah.
And you're like,
right.
Oh, this is my friend. This is my sis. This is my piece.
And I haven't spoken to her since.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've texted a few times.
We have, yes. But it's one of those friendships that no matter how far we are from each other, how much time goes by, it's like it was
yesterday. Have trouble ever. Like,
no.
Yeah, I don't feel that.
No.
I I think it's also in comedy. Also, we with the female comics, we feel the need, because we aren't, we're in still in the minority. So when we meet somebody who's a female comic and we get along with them, we're like, and it becomes like this.
Mhm.
That's what happened with me and Julia. Also, when we first met, when we first re-met.
Remet, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you got a chance to see the show, but basically the show is, talking, the specials that we did, the Funny Women of a Certain Age. It's all about the fact that it's women
I've
over
seen
50.
one of those. I know I have. Isn't there two?
Yes, there's two. One had starred Fran Drescher, the other starred Caroline Ray. Julia was in the second one.
Helen Ray is the one I saw, I think.
Yes. And we talk about what it's like. So one of the things, Julia, do you have any fabulous questions you want to ask? Should we go to the board where I have my
Well, I know we can't ask the Cuomo question.
Well, we could ask. We can ask. She doesn't have to. She could say no to all three.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I love him. Yes. I'm sorry. I was watching him every day, like last month, because he was like being a leader.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that interesting that, I mean, here you are in California, and yet
I know.
it was going, I guess, I didn't
Everybody
realize it was,
in my neighborhood was watching him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it went nationwide. I thought it was just local to tri-state area.
No, it was. Everyone was talking about how, and friends of mine who live in different states, including Oklahoma, Kansas, we're all watching Cuomo when he was on. I think it was he would be held on MSNBC or CNN, whatever, when he would do his daily things, because it felt so real, and he felt like he was a leader, and he was giving us information, and we trust most of the information. So he was like the de facto president for that time.
Yes.
I want to bring up a subject that you and I spoke about, Suzanne, and when we worked in Detroit, and if you don't want to answer this, that's fine. But you had said to me back then that had you not come out, that you would have been, your career would have skyrocketed or something to that effect.
I've been told that more. I mean, I've come to sort of believe that that's probably true, because when I chose to be an open lesbian comedian, I chose to do it right when I started, which was the end of 1990. And it's weird now to think about how different it was then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as far as I knew, and I think I'm right, there was only like 3 other open lesbian comics in the world. And they were mostly playing at lesbian festivals for lesbian audiences. And I was doing it. I was trying to be at, stand up. I was trying to be at, the comic strip, all these clubs that are gone, the Improv.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Catch a Rising Star is where I auditioned and made it in. And it was like, ooh, a lesbian comedian, it was such a different thing. And now they have, there's not a comedy club that doesn't have like gay night.
Right. Oh, it's it's definitely, but do you think that with adding on to what Julia's saying, do you think that, do you really think it hurt you on the road?
Yeah. I mean, because I would have, if I had been a heterosexual, I'm pretty funny. I'm almost 30 years making my living doing stand-up. I've been headlining the whole time, never had to middle, never had to do any of that stuff. I had 45 minutes to an hour material within months. You know what I mean? And so it's obviously a skill I didn't even realize I had, right? So had I been heterosexual, I think I would have gotten like my own TV show. Think about it, the 90s, you know what I mean? I would have gotten one of my own shows and had the wacky neighbor. And
right.
But instead, instead, I was still auditioning for things. And literally, the one I remember most was I did this great audition and got a call back for a Diet Coke commercial. And this was like 1994. And then on the second audition, the woman who was auditioning, she looked at my resume, my, whatever, headshot, and turned it back. She said, "Oh, you're openly lesbian?" And she just turned it over. And that was on my second audition. So I had already
Wow.
She went, "Goodbye."
Wow.
It's
Wow.
it's so amazing to me that this business, where I would say a very high percentage of the people in the business are LGBT.
Of
How they
course.
could discriminate
not like
against their own.
when we're in high school and everybody says theater fag and it's all the gay kids who are involved. It's not like suddenly they get out of high school and suddenly become heterosexual and go into
Yeah,
the
Right.
entertainment field. It
Right.
draws us, you
Right.
know.
That's
So-
wild. That and what's interesting is that now if that happened, you could bring that person up on charges, the casting person.
Yeah, right. Now,
Do you
if
know
you
what I
can
mean?
prove it.
Right. But
you
that's
know.
yeah. But here's the thing that I take away from all this is that you succeeded in spite of that. Like in other words, it didn't. I understand what you're saying. Like, well, if I had done this would have happened. But you have a great career.
I do. I mean, I'm fine about it. I
Right.
don't want anyone to not think I don't love what I do, but I'm very aware that had I started after Ellen came out, for example, I might
Right.
have gotten very, very famous, like TV famous, or if I had started in 2000, when it started to be a little more, but someone has to break down the thing, and that was
Right.
me.
Right.
And
Well-
I came from an activist background. I was in ACT UP and Queer Nation and the Lesbian Avengers. And so that was okay for me, meaning that's what I want to do anyway. I'm old school, lay in the streets, march, demonstrate.
Right. Right. So it in the end, it did work out. Do you know?
It
You know what I
did.
mean? You know what? And thank goodness that this is like thinking about this now. That if there's anyone watching who is a young comic in the LGBTQ community, they're probably going, really that you had that type of and so
It seems impossible now.
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Do you get? I don't know if you still go up for stuff like parts in shows, acting roles.
A little bit. Mhm.
Is it always? Are you always cast as a lesbian, or are you
No,
cast
never. Because
you cast as a straight?
if I still don't look like a lesbian enough
Right.
because if you think about when you see a lesbian on television or movies, they're either super, what we used to call like super dykey looking,
Right.
Right.
Or they're playmates.
Right.
Well, the reason I ask is because every now and then I'll get set up for something, but it's always a transgendered woman. It's always that. It's never just
Not just wow.
No, never.
Now that I'm sort of do they know? Is that why?
Well, I mean, I'm totally out. I mean,
look at you no more than you can look at me and say that's a lesbian. I can't look at you and say, ooh, transgender.
I mean, I can't believe that Julia isn't out getting all the grandma roles right now. Like,
Right, that's what I would think.
The kindly old grandma. We know that she's not a kindly old grandma, but look at her. I mean, she would be that
Maybe she's just not good at acting like a nice person.
maybe that's what it is. You might be right.
But yeah, Julia,
I'm shocked, Julia.
Yeah, me too.
I think it has, and it's a lesson I learned from AGT, is that Middle America, particularly conservative Middle America, is not going to accept me as a cis woman playing a cis woman.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
even if they don't know beforehand, meaning is it because they think that they can tell by looking at you?
I don't know what it is. It's the cat's out of the bag on me anyway. So I mean, it's not like I could even, not that I even want to.
Right.
But I
mean, as an actor.
Well, what pisses me off is I see, and it's not so much now, they're getting better at it, but back in the day, like they always had straight women actors playing, and when the trans character was always some psychotic, I ate your baby.
Oh my
kinda.
God, lesbians were always the ice pick killers.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's what we should do, Suzanne. We'll do a show. You be the ice pick killer. I'll be the baby
If you
eater.
think about it, there's something to be said there, which I'm going to just bring it up. A lot of that is misogyny.
Oh,
sure.
Of course.
Gay men can get cast as gay men. They are not the ice pick killers. They are not the serial killers. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing because ultimately, I think, and this is maybe controversial to say, but ultimately, the male-female thing is the judge.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely, you're yes. Yes, I agree. But quickly, just on this
Yeah.
note, let's talk about the fact that actually something good this week happened with the Supreme Court. Can we just, for a moment in all of this bullshit, who would have thought that Neil Gorsuch,
Of all people, right?
of all people,
What do
and
they have on him?
right. But I posted on Facebook yesterday, me quoting what El Duce would be saying, like, what do you mean I can't fire a Supreme Court judge? I'm the you're fired guy. Like, it must have drove him batshit. He must have been so angry yesterday.
He could barely lift his glass to his mouth.
Although I lived in New York for 10 years and he didn't used to be homophobic. He was always a racist.
He was always a racist. But that has to do with his vice president. Because his vice president, because Pence is one of
the homophobia, you mean?
Yeah, I think the homophobia comes from Pence.
Oh man, Pence is the worst. He's Mr. Send them away to camps and make them change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but at least because it's been between the protests and the quarantine.
The protests are giving me life, man. It makes me feel good. Like, oh my God, is change going to happen?
Well, yes, I agree with you, but because we've all been through this for 3 years with this schmuck, in the back of our minds, we're like, oh my God, all these hundreds of thousands of people there. Oh my, this is it. He's gonna, and then if they don't show up at the polls, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Do you know what I mean? But at least this week we can take a breath and go, all right, you can't get fired because of your sexuality.
Remember in 2017, this guy, I feel like all of 2017, everything the dipshit did, I felt like every time, and I'm pretty political, I'm addicted to the news and all that. Every time we would go, oh, this is it.
Oh yeah.
This
is
the thing that's gonna do it.
And yet
now he's out.
It was always a level deeper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, but hey, listen, when the audio came out while he was running about grabbing by the pussy,
God.
and that didn't do it.
That was it.
Yeah. So that's why, though I agree with you, and the protests also give me hope because I'm a baby from the 60s, and my son is an activist, which is so bizarre. And he's out there and he's so funny, my son, because he has OCD and he's a germaphobe. So he loved all of the quarantine. But like, he said, because I said to him, you have to be careful when you do go to the protest because of the cops, and because even though he's a white kid, he looks like a hippie. So they're going to, he's got long hair.
And they're not differentiating too much.
Exactly. So he finally decides to go to a protest and he goes, I wasn't going to tell you, but I wanted you to know. And I said, I'm glad you told me. I'm very proud of you that you go. And then we told him what to do because he went with his best friend. And I said, make sure you have our names written on your forearm, and make sure you do. And he did. And I'm so proud that he did do it. And I said to him, this is my son's 28. I said, this is your fight. Not that we won't be there, us old bitches, we will be there fighting. But this is your fight. And so you're right. It does give me hope that maybe something will change, but because it's
the first time that I'm, like my girlfriend's family is super high-end Christian, and yet two of them marched. There's a different conversation happening all of a sudden among the white people. Not good enough yet, but you're starting to hear white people say, wait, it's our job to change.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And we never heard anything like that. Like, it's just those little incremental.
It's almost like
the truth. We were just talking about it. In 1990, when I started, being lesbian, all that was horrible. There was no such thing as gay night and club, right? But things changed.
Right.
So things do change.
I'm older than all of you. Oh, And I'm old enough to remember the '60s and the movement back then. And
Uh-huh.
this is really, really reminiscent of that time. But I
Sure.
think this time it's a lot more meaningful and impactful. And I think this time, because of social media, that something actually will come out of it. I really think we're going to see change here. Politically, I think we're moving into a renaissance period.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm just so jaded. Not that I'm jaded. I'm just,
It's hard to have hope anymore.
right. But
Oh, you gotta have hope.
right.
I have it. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's hard because we just kept getting smacked down.
Right.
But that's our job as comedians, I think.
Right, right.
We're reporters.
I
But
agree.
but we want to do it in a way where it's like, hey, we're all in this together. I'm talking
And
too
you
much. I'm
learn
sorry.
when you're laughing. You learn and
You
you're
do.
relaxed and you're there. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah.
Well, as long as
that-
I think that, I mean, like one of the things, and I don't have a lot of people on the right that I actually have one good friend of mine, and we try not to discuss politics because we have too much of a history, and I'm not going to not be his friend. But they're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change their mind. So we try to at least for some of the relationship, we try not to do that. But even he, who is very conservative, can't believe what's happening.
You're seeing things like the Lincoln Project now, where these people are finally standing up and just going, "All right, enough already."
Right. And hopefully, I just feel like this guy has gotten so many passes, that it's like, what is going to do it? It would be ironic if it would be really wonderful if it was Black Lives Matter was the thing that got him to be the final thing.
I know, right?
It would be like, fuck you. Anyway, enough.
Let's move to comedy. Let's talk comedy.
Suzanne.
But you know what? Everything sort of happened at a very cool time. I'm not religious. I'm an atheist, but I believe in energy. You know what I mean? I believe in Mother Nature and science and stuff like that. And I feel like science went, I'm tired of you people. Here comes a virus that is gonna knock you all out if you don't get it together. And because of that, we all have to be home. So we all have to be in front of our TVs or listening or whatever. And there's something about that feels very like right to me. Like this was the time it could happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Right? I will tell you this. Thea Vidal, who was also, I don't know if you remember Thea Vidal was on this. Yes. So she was on the second special with us, and we were always very close, and then lost contact. And we've been talking a lot recently, and she's devastated. Every day she wakes up and, and she's got grandsons and she's worried for her children and everything. But one of the things I said to her, and it's what you were saying about the hope thing. Good. It's so silly because I use a Star Wars reference, and I'm like, my son and my husband are like, "Ha ha, you're a nerd too." Good will always triumph over evil. I know that sounds really cliche, but it will. And
but when it is true.
It's really true. I mean, I have seen goodness. Like I was joking at the beginning of the show where I'm like, New Yorkers are like, we're always saying "fuck you," but now it's "fuck you." Like there's a warmth, and there was a young lady today. This was a perfect example of how people are changing. There was a young lady who was on the phone, and she was a black girl, young black girl, and she was bitching about white people on the phone. Okay, we were on the bus, and then the bus. There was a woman who was trying to get off the bus who was disabled, and she fell. And if that girl did not drop her phone and jump on, because the buses have plastic on it now, so you can't go close to the driver. She was under there and picked her up and walked her off. She got back on the bus. Everyone applauded her because it was like, look at this. This is what it's about. There was an older white lady, this young lady who had just been bitching about this type of stuff, and went and I said to her afterwards, I said, you know what? You're a very kind soul, and that's what we need in this world now. And that gives me hope. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and have hope.
Yeah. Fuck 'em. So let's do some comedy because we're sitting here and we apologize to the people because we,
I got nothing funny to say.
No. These, you still didn't ask. You still did not ask Suzanne the number one question we
All
asked
right.
Julia.
Every week, Suzanne, we ask this question of the guests, and it of all the Cuomos, Mario, Andrew, Chris, which one would you sleep with?
Wait, Mario, Andrew.
Bearing in mind that Mario is dead.
Yeah, in my brain, I was going, wait, Mario, he's not
Very
around
dead. He's very, very dead. Yeah.
So probably Mario.
Wow. Wow.
Because he's dead, or because he was the sexiest one of the three?
Well, because I'm a lesbian. And
Well, that was why we were
it'd be
hesitant
easier
to ask.
handle. He's a dead guy. He wouldn't need much.
And you know how you were talking about lesbians being ice pick killers. They also like to fuck the dead. So there you go.
Oh, a lot of people
I
don't
wasn't
know
aware of that.
A lot of people don't know that, Carol.
Was not aware of that one.
So we always have these silly questions because we want to talk about being on the road. And I know you did the road for a long time and still are.
Still.
Give us your worst comedy, worst road comedy gig. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's an early.
Oh, good. That's fine.
Oh, and it's sort of a. So it had to be. I was still living in New York, so it had to be like 1992 or 93. And I got asked to do. They were having a show. It was up in, I want to say like Yonkers, but that's not it. But above Manhattan, one of the areas above Manhattan, and there was a comedy club up there. And this nice-looking guy had seen me at the Duplex there in New York, and said, "Oh, come up to my club and do 15 minutes. We have where I have comedy on the weekends, whatever." And so I drove up and I got there, and it was like 8 comics, 7 men, and me.
Oh God.
6 black, all black audience. So it's 1992 or something like that. And I'm going to get up in front, and it's not a comedy club per se. It was like some sort of friends club, meetings club, you know what I mean? And I had to get up in front of an audience that was completely black. I'm one of only 2 white people who are getting on the stage. I'm the only woman, and I'm going to say I'm lesbian. That's my show. I don't have anything else. And when I came, oh my God, the deafening quiet when I said it. Oh my God. And all the women went like this.
Yeah.
And the guys were kind of like, but the reason it was a terrible experience, but it turned out to be great. For me, it was my first thing where I thought this could happen, because I had 15, 18 minutes, but I got them laughing and smacking each other and going, "That's you," and then talking to me afterwards. And I was like, I win, I can do this.
Let me ask, was there ever a time coming up?
And I had a ponytail.
Was there ever a time when you thought maybe I should not talk about this? Maybe I should just try to mainstream myself and not. See, and that's why I love you. That's one of the great things I love about you.
Oh, thank you. But what would have been the point?
Well, I mean, I knew for me, when I came back, it was with that intention. I wanted to be totally honest and totally fearless, up there, and it's been, for me, it's been very self-fulfilling, and satisfying. But I can't imagine. Well, I guess in a way I was kind of in the closet before, because I knew something was amiss. But I did.
But that's not the same. That's not fair.
No.
Because you weren't really holding anything back.
Well, I thought I was gay.
You weren't all aware of it yourself.
No, but I thought I was gay for a while. I mean, that seemed to be the only answer to what was going on in my head.
Wow.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But the reason
I got asked. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll give you my point afterwards.
I had a chance to be on a couple of shows that would have been a very big deal, one being Jay Leno, and they asked me not to bring up the lesbian thing, not to say it.
On the Tonight Show? On the Tonight Show?
I said,
Wow.
Wow.
so I said, no, this is probably that's 95,
Right.
96. I said, I'm not doing it. And everybody said, oh my God, how could you not be on Jay Leno? Blah, blah, blah. You know, because it's the Tonight Show, you know what I mean? And I don't think it was him specifically. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I've met him since, but I know that was not the smartest move I probably could have made, but I could not, I just couldn't go out there and do, what do you get, like 3 minutes, and not acknowledge what the whole point of what I was doing was.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Right. Very quickly, Thea is watching, and she said to say she loves this. So say hi to Thea.
Oh,
Hey,
Thea.
Thea. But I want to, this is a really good point why I love both of you specifically, because I think true comedy comes from being who you are.
Oh my God, yes.
And in my career, now it's not as you know, it's taken differently, but you know, my entire career, I was always a dirty comic. And I was always told, don't be dirty. Don't be dirty. You're a mom. You're so pretty. You shouldn't do that. And then, of course, when I got to be, you know, I'm 62 and people are like, you shouldn't talk about your age. You're not going to get any work. And it's like, but that's who I am. So that it's so interesting that you said the comic said, oh my God, you didn't get on Jay Leno. You know what? Fuck that. And nothing against Jay, because and
I don't think it was his choice even, or he didn't even know about it.
It's you have to be who you are, because I'm telling you, you would have been on that show and not doing it, and you would not have done well.
I would not have done well,
because you would have been like,
I'm hiding stuff.
Right. You have to be yourself. You have to be. And that's the same thing with you, Julia. You know, this is who you are. You know,
well, that's the thing. And I know what Suzanne's saying, because when you're kind of in the closet still, you're not talking about who you are. There's that, you know, there's that part of you that wants to do it. And then there's that part of you that's, you know, skirting around. I don't want to drop a hint or a clue that I am, right. you know,
right.
And you know what I'm saying, Suzanne? It's like,
I do.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends that are openly gay comics, but didn't start out as openly gay comics.
Right.
They started out as straight women and then came out as it got safer and easier. And we talk about it all the time, that like how much freeing, like even if they'd been doing stand-up 10 years and had a level of success and it had even been on Jay Leno and all that stuff, once they were able to be honest, they feel, and I feel too, their comedy got better.
I agree with you. I mean, when I did it on AGT, I mean, I came out on national television to the country.
Yes. But you know what?
But it was very liberating, you know.
Of course. Yes. And everyone loved you. I mean, when you then when you came back, the audience was so, when she did the second round, when the second time after you could see the people, the joy in their eyes that Julia was back.
And there's something, I think people, you know this anyway, in comedy, when I tell a story that is true, even if it makes me look like an asshole, it's the thing that people love because they do it too. Mm-hmm. Everybody does that stupid thing, or they have some, and it melds you together, and the laugh gets deeper, and it's more fun, and it's what people remember.
But also, everyone, and you know, for I'm sure you ladies will know this, but both George Carlin and Richard Pryor, they were what I call they were suit and tie comics.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah, and originally they were both suit and tie comics and going out and doing that, you know, hey, you know, and both of them
bada bing, bada bing, joke.
Right, and both of them went, oh, fuck this, you know, and they had minor successes being that not themselves.
But look how amazing they got when they became true to themselves.
Exactly. And so if anyone is listening who is starting out in comedy or is a comic, that's really, to me, is the most important thing, is being who you are on stage more than anything else.
But as simple as that sounds,
right,
it's monumental, and it's like climbing a mountain, man. It's just, you know, because you're afraid. I mean, you don't want to, you know, I go back to Bill Persky.
Well, you want to please, you want to succeed.
That's it.
Right.
But Bill Persky, the writer, the comedy writer, I have it up here. You know, start with the truth. Always start with the truth and stay there.
You can edit it later.
Yeah.
This is from Gail Straker. Says, I'm grateful for your honesty. It has helped me and my loved ones. Aw, that's very sweet.
I love
That's
that.
I want to get some of these out here so you can see them. Love listening to smart, strong women discuss life passionately, the difficult and the good, love and hugs. And you ladies help me to feel free to be myself each day without apology. Very freeing. I mean, I've always been that way. You know, I've always, I mean, like I said, it's not the same thing as a sexuality, but I've always been, you know, that, oh, she's the dirty girl, you know, because, but I always say, I'm from Brooklyn. Fuck's an adjective back there. That's how I talk. You know, and compared to what's
But
funny.
you know what? I think it's the same because I've seen, and maybe you've even met, I've met comics, especially women, who've tried to be dirty because they thought that was it.
Right, right.
Tried to talk, but that's not who they are. And then when they finally go, you know what, this is not who I am, and they become more true, no matter what it is. When you get more truthful, you get more honest.
Yes.
Right.
You get more funny. The audience jumps with you. They're so, because they can feel that.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
it is a learning curve. You have to, you know, suck at every other attempt before you just
Right.
go, okay, I'm going to be myself.
Well, yeah, but it's like when we talk, you know, because I still want Julia to do her solo show, and one of the things I told her is the thing about a solo show is it's funny, but there's poignancy and there's all different.
Yeah.
So the hardest thing for a comic when I did my solo show was, and a director told me this. He goes, when the audience is not laughing, they're listening, and it's so hard for comics not to hear that
blank space.
Right, and so, but once you learn how to do that. Man, I mean, I've literally sometimes been so bored doing my act, I will throw the crowd just so I can get them back. Do you know what I mean?
A solo. I think, Suzanne, didn't you do a solo?
Did you do a solo?
I don't know how to explain it, but I sort of only ever done a solo show. Meaning I do 15-minute shows when people ask me to be involved in different things. But when I go out, I do 90 minutes to
Wow.
Longer. Yeah, and it's just me, and there are times, especially like if I'm talking about I just had a surgery or something, whatever, or someone died. It's poignant too. So it's like a solo show. It's just not directed or sold that way.
Right.
Yeah.
But you should try that. Yeah, I will tell you, as someone who develops and directs, you should think about looking towards Broadway, because honestly, with everything that's happening, they're going to be looking for. It's going to be very hard for my husband works on Broadway. He works. He's a child guardian. They're the guardians of the children. He was in School of Rock, and okay, but so we're waiting to hear whether or not any of the shows are going to come back, because, like for example, School of Rock had 17 kids plus adults, so that was a cast of maybe 50 plus the musicians. So there, I think, and this is just my opinion, that Broadway is going to be looking for solo shows, because then it's just you. We don't have to worry about, you know, like so we don't have to worry about as far as social distancing and all that sanitizing. We're still trying to figure it out, how they're going to be able to get dancers and singers to do Broadway shows. Because when you sing, you spit.
I've never had anybody to help me think that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now you do. Now you do.
I can put myself in your hands. I'm saying that because I've never really had a manager. I had a woman who was my manager. She was a friend who was helping.
Right.
You know what I mean? But she ran the lesbian cruise companies. She didn't know anything about, you know, that.
Right.
She just happened to be a friend. I've never, like I said, when I started, to be around me was bad because, then you'd be a lesbian and people didn't want, and you weren't going to get on TV. You know what I mean? And then by the time it became okay, now I'm in my 40s, and it's like, oh, your old hat, you know. So I've never had anyone. I've done it. I hate the way this sounds. I don't mean to be patting myself on the back, but I've kind of done it. I just did it on my own.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know how to.
Well,
I don't know how to get myself on Broadway or off Broadway or anything like that.
Well,
where that starts.
We will email and discuss in person, you know, off the show, because I definitely think that, and that goes for Julia also. I mean, this is a great time, because they're going to be looking for people who aren't going, you know, not a cast of 50.
Because it's going to be easier to produce. Well, I know that I've done all these different theaters around the country, like the Keswick Theater, all these different theaters, and the people that work there, the sound people, and like they're always so happy when it's me because
Right.
it's like here's the cue, mic on. Oh, she's done. Mic off. You know,
I
don't have
know.
sound cues. I
Yeah.
don't have props. I don't have
Yeah.
anybody coming in. I just talk for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and that's it.
Right.
And I
it-
gotta say, she is so compelling on stage that
Oh, thank
No,
you.
I'm serious. I mean, I never watch comics, and I just can't watch them. But when we work together, it's like, my God, look at she's just got the. She just has such command of the audience. It's a real
I
gift.
really like what I do. I really like
I think
the
that's a
audience.
big part of it. You
Yeah.
gotta love what you do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
And I
that,
didn't get jaded. And Julie, I know you and Carol, you guys know this. You meet comics, they've only been doing it like 10, 15 years, and they're already like phoning it in and bitter and jaded. And I'm like, my God.
yeah.
Where's my
how
I
can you
call
not
it I
enjoy
call
it
it
every time.
I call it where's my development deal syndrome. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like
it's so interesting. I used to, I occasionally still coach younger comics, but I got a call one time from somebody, and it was, I should have known it was a problem. It was this gentleman's secretary, and she goes, "My boss wants to book some time with you, and he wants." So I went and I met with the guy. He was some like hedge fund guy, and I said, I said to him, "Please send me something," and he never did. So he goes, "I'll have you just watch it with me." Of course, it was the worst piece of, it was just, you could tell he was a good writer, but he'd only been on stage like once or twice. So I'm talking to him and I'm going, okay, well, this is interesting. You are a good writer, but my number one rule when I coach is you got to be on stage. You got to get on stage. And literally, I swear to God, 45 minutes in, he goes, "So can you get me on the Tonight Show?" And I was like,
in about
no.
15 years, maybe. Yeah.
But he was so focused. And then I had worked
focused on fame.
right. He was focused on fame,
success.
and so many comics are. I mean, we Julia and I both, and in the last few episodes, we've all talked about the near misses. We've all had near misses, but here's the deal: we're all still here. We're all still here. We're all still making a living and making a good living. Well, not right now because we're all fucked because of the quarantine. But I love that you said that, because in the end, you have to love what you're doing. You have to love this, And the thing I think I miss the most about stand-up right now isn't even the performing. That's why we came up with the show. Is this. Just sitting here and bullshitting with other comics, because I miss that more than anything. I mean, I just.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm hoping eventually we sell this to an actual network, and then we can actually sit at a diner and order the early bird special, and then I can put on, where are they? Hold on. I can put on these glasses and go, I don't like that. I'm sorry. My eggs are runny. I don't like this.
Oh my God.
So anyway, we are almost out of time. Julia, is there anything else we want to chat with this beautiful, fabulous, talentedly funny woman?
No, I'm just looking forward. I should have looked up the date. For nice face, by the way. She's nice. Ooh.
Born to be a lesbian.
I have no words for that. I do have words for that, but
I know.
I really wish I had looked at the date for Lancaster, but hopefully you'll see both. And who else? Well, who was the third act that was supposed to be on with us there?
Is it Kirsten?
Jessica Kirsten. Jessica, is she on? Is she on the show?
I think. Oh God, I can't remember.
Well, that's a heavy duty lineup.
I have like 2 shows lined up for the rest of the year, basically, and I can't remember them.
You can't remember. By the way, one of our fans said I make a great point about Broadway. Thank you, Linda. So hopefully I'm right. You make a great point about Broadway. So anyway, ladies, this has been fabulous. I am so glad that I reconnected with you, Suzanne, and I will definitely email you, and we will discuss that, because you are. It
feels so good to see people and talk to people.
And you're a force to be reckoned with. And Julia, my pal, my co-host, my fabulous partner in crime. Please follow
With her
these.
sneaky little smile.
Yeah.
No,
follow-
I had a tooth pulled this morning and a
Oh.
bridge put, so I have a temporary,
Oh,
so I
okay.
can't smile.
Yes. So
Gotcha.
I follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. We're all over on Facebook. And keep the faith, ladies, because keep being funny, because the world needs
They're
it.
going to need us more than ever when this opens up.
Damn straight.
And then we'll have so many dates, and we won't remember any of them. Goodbye, ladies. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, Julia.
Bye,
Carole.
Suzanne.